Greetings from the rainy wilds of North Carolina, where it is that kind of weather that makes you wish fall would just segue right on to winter. Running a little late this week, it's all the way to Thursday, which means tonight we have the Beasts of the East, the Eagles versus the Commanders. The Eagles are 3-point favorites playing at the Link. If they win, they will have a solid game-and-a-half lead over the Commanders. I don't know where the Commanders came from. All of a sudden, they're there this year, but calls back from legendary rivalries. The Eagles have legendary rivalries with a lot of teams, mostly because Eagles fans aren't very nice people. And by God, we're proud of it. Let's get back to last week. The Ravens beat the Browns, as they do with a lot of teams. This time, uncharacteristically, on 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns from Lamar Jackson. And for some reason, the Browns could have tied it right at the end of the fourth quarter, but they went for a 2-point conversion, which was blocked. And so they lost. Not sure how that happened. Excitement, if you want to call it that, continued Sunday morning with the Panthers beating the Giants. If you are a fan of watching two bums fight each other in an alley and neither of them can land a punch, this was the game for you, really. You should go rewatch it on one of those NFL services. And, the Giants are bad. They've been bad for a long time. The Panthers, I'm not even sure they're really a professional team anymore, but they played each other, and they played in Munich. And the German crowd seemed really, really, really enthusiastic. I know some Americans fly over for the games. I can't imagine a whole lot of people flew over for this game. It may have something to do with the fantastic German beer, but they were really enthusiastic about this game. Let's see, the Patriots, another team that's not terribly good, stomped the Bears. The Niners, let's see. The Niners are very, very happy to have Christian McCaffrey back. They rescued him from the Panthers, and he got badly hurt early in the season. They took a 23-20 win over the Buccaneers. Buccaneers can't decide if they're a really fantastic team or if they're just one of those teams that wins a couple games and then goes in the tank. The NFC West is now worried because they're facing a Niners team that has more and more of their people getting healthy, and that team that everyone picked to win the NFC West is now coming back together. We'll see what happens. The Chiefs continue, well, as the commentators like to say, they keep finding ways to win. What that really means is they're getting a little bit luckier every week. And this week, it took a blocked field goal as time expired for them to beat the Broncos. Now, the Broncos, not a great team. Not a great team. One would expect the Chiefs to thump them instead of having to rely on blocking a field goal. What that helps set up is the game against Buffalo on Sunday evening, where the Bills are 2.5-point to 3-point favorites in Buffalo. The crowd is going to be hostile. The crowd is going to be loud. The weather is going to be, well, let's face it, the weather in Buffalo and the weather in Kansas City aren't that much different. But the Bills are favorites in that game, and God knows we would love to watch them win. But we'll see. I know I'll be watching with plenty of Buffalo football snacks. If you're nice, we might even let you come have some. Not really. Don't show up at my door. The 17 of you that watch me. Let's see. Speaking of the Bills, they rode the Colts, to a 30-20 win. See what I did there? They rode the Colts. Never mind. The Steelers terrible toweled the Commanders into submission 28-27, thus giving the Eagles their lead in the East. We'd like to thank you, brothers, which could set up a state of Pennsylvania sweep of a team, which you don't see very often. But let's hope. Let me explain that. You know, I'm a Bills fan. I'm a huge Bills fan. But in my formative years, I lived in Pennsylvania for a while, in Philadelphia. And while I was there, I became an Eagles fan. It was sort of in the nascent time of my sports fandom. That's why I root for the Phillies. That's why I root for the Eagles. I try to root for the Flyers, but they never do anything. But I was born in Buffalo and married a woman whose entire family is from Buffalo. Thus, I am a Buffalo and Philadelphia fan. The only time that comes into conflict is if they play each other, which doesn't happen very often. And if that happens, I back the Bills. So there we go. Let's get that out of the way. I've heard from people about, well, are you an Eagles fan or are you a Bills fan? Well, I'm a Bills fan first, always. So moving right along here, the Vikings, who looked really, really awesome to start the year, they barely beat the Jags 12-7. And let's face it, just about everybody beats the Jags. The Saints went marching to a 20-17 win over the Falcons. I'm really trying to up my jargon there. The Saints went marching. Let me know what you think. And what do the Falcons, the Bills, and the Texans have in common? Anyone? They are leading divisions where every team but them has a losing record. It really stands out in the AFC East. Let's see, what do we got next here? The Chargers top the Titans. Pretty much everyone is. The Cardinals grounded the Jets 31-6 in what is looking more and more like Aaron Rodgers' season-long retirement party. They can't win. They just can't win. They rumble, bumble, and stumble, but they don't win. That's for you, John Madden. The Eagles-Cowboys. Speaking of rivalries with the Eagles, there is no bigger rivalry than this. But lately, it hasn't really been much of a rivalry. The Eagles stomped. I almost felt bad for the Cowboys, but I really can't. It's just not possible. They won the game 34-6. Lions went to Texas and drilled out a win down there, 26-23. God, I'm getting really good at that. But the Texans are still the best team in Texas. And in Monday night's game, the Dolphins topped the Rams. Rams have a pretty good defense. Tua got hit a number of times, got sacked a couple of times, got bounced on his head a couple of times, but he seems fine. So we'll give a little hope and prayer for that he continues to win, except not when they're playing the Bills. So that's this week. Tune in tonight for the game and get ready to watch another weekend of great NFL action. Bye.